Oh, sorry. I was trying to like knock off on live. And try to get this party going. Hello, good morning. Trying to make sure that my view is good over here. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and jump into it, or maybe give it like another minute or two for people to jump on. But I do want to get this finished. I have other plans for today that I want to do. I really want to do a pansy tutorial, so we shall see how long this one takes. Good morning, good morning. I'm just mixing my paints up right now because they did get a little bit wet last night. Just give it a quick little stir so that the oils, not the oils, but whatever, you know what I mean, the little water part of it mixes in with the paint. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in, get started. If you guys are painting along, you can always catch up. If you're not painting along, you can just come in and chit chat for a little bit. I know everybody's gonna be at work and stuff, and you know, having their lives. What is today, Thursday? People are at work, people are at school, people are relaxing. Get my scruffy brushes. All right. So we're gonna go back in from last night and start working on this second flower. I'm gonna just grab a brush to kind of lay my color down. Going in with that hot pink and white mix that we are doing. And going over here. Let's start filling in our color. Just layer it on. If you guys are barely tuning in, last night I did go live to do a part one. This is part 2 of the tutorial. I have not rinsed my brush off. I'm going to go in with some white and use the paint that's underneath to kind of drag it down. Remember, you can use your blending brushes to create a smoother gradient going down. My paints are way too wet. I might have to lay new color down on my palette because this was a brand new palette yesterday, and sometimes the water from underneath the sponge gets in with the paint and it makes it way too watery. So I'm going to go in with some more of that hot pink and white mixture over here, just laying my color down for a base coat. This one is going to have a little bit of a shadow up here, so I'm going to remind myself of that by just adding some magenta, some darkness, because it is being shadowed by this top portion. So laying my first layers down. Let's come over here and do this color too. So this is the bad thing about doing, or when I get all chatty Cathy on live, and then I end up doing a super simple tutorial that takes me forever because I just don't stop talking. I talk a lot. All right, gonna go in with the darker magenta here. Start to fill in your color. Lay it down. Don't forget we have little pockets over here that we will be filling in the same as we did over here with different colors. And this is going to be the darkest petal, so I'm just gonna lay my my darker quadranone magenta while I'm going in. Maybe I want to put a little bit more here. Remember that this petal and this petal are overlapping this one, so you don't have to, the light portion of it is going to be out here where it's peeking out from the sun. So I do have some white over here. I'm going to try to erase any extra little pencil marks. Go around and erase them. So this petal is sort of semi-dry. Don't forget that we have a pocket, and that is going to just be straight magenta with a little smidge of hot pink. And it's like a little sunflower seed from the side type of view. I don't know how to describe the shape. It's like a very long grain of rice. We're gonna put a pocket here. I'm gonna mix some more magenta in, and I'm gonna go in here. Put my little pocket there. And then I'm gonna grab some magenta again and create a pocket here. Except that this pocket, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a curve, okay? The reason I'm doing that is because this one, this petal is being covered by this top one. So let's add a little streak of white just so that you know this is from this petal, not this one. So I'm trying to create a difference in color, a difference in tone, and just blending that in together. Oh God, I need my back scratcher. Hold on. Okay. So let's start building it petal by petal. I know I'm kind of like, I fell off my groove last night. I should have just finished the tutorial last night, but I was extremely tired, man. I had been up since 4 a.m., so I didn't have a lot of energy. And today is my kiddo's last day of school before a 4-day, which I'm very excited about, so I don't have to wake up early tomorrow. Even though I probably still am going to. I guess I should say I don't have to wake up them early. Oh, I hate this brush. I get a different brush. Hold on. I need like a soft brush. That other brush was way too harsh. Okay. Much better. Much better. I did go into my little pocket here. That's fine. So I'm going to keep adding white up here and blending it down, okay? This is the lightest of your petals for this specific flower. I'm just using the side of my brush to drag it down. You can use your Fred brush, etc. and keep building on those layers. Each petal is going to be different in regards to where your shading is gonna go. Let's grab a smidge of purple, and here, let me mix it over here. So just a smidge of purple, and I'm gonna mix it in with some of that magenta and a little smidge of white too. Pretty little like lavender lilac color. And that's where we're gonna be, down here. Just dragging it down with the white. Giving it a bit of a purple hue. It is very quiet inside of my house right now. I don't like that. Then I know I'm gonna be complaining when Bruno starts acting up, barking his life away. And we're just blending that down. You'll see me constantly going to get rid of the excess paint. I'm going to grab some of that, what color is this? This is alizarin crimson hue. And we're gonna go up from the little center portion, right? I'm gonna leave a couple of marks here, and I'm going to switch to my blending brush and just bring that up. I don't wanna go too high up, but I do wanna give it a little bit of color here in the center. Maybe I wanna mix a little bit of hot pink in there too, just in the middle to kind of brighten it up, tap it in. Tap, tap, tap into your alizarin crimson color. And remember, you can use the edge of your brush to kind of create a little scrubbing motion. You can always add color, remove color to help with your blending. My color up here has already kind of dried off. So I'm just going to keep adding color to it to help with my blending. Except my paints are acting up a little bit. As I said last night, I left my paint palette closed instead of with a little smidge of a crack open. So my paints are completely like wet. They're like extremely fluid today. And when that happens, you start to get little areas like this. I don't know if you can see where you start to lift the paint up and you create little like holes and stuff. And the best advice that I could give for that is just, which I have a really hard time following my own advice about this, just leave it alone, walk away. You left your color down, you left the paint something to grip onto, so you can come back and just keep building on those colors. Let's work on this little petal over here. I kind of want to point these out a little bit more. I feel like they need to be just a smidge pointier. Building on that color. And remember that this little petal up here is going to have a little bit of magenta. I can just make this entire side magenta. How about that? God, blending with these brushes is like butter. Alizarin crimson, a little kiss of neon pink as well. And going up this little center here. And I know you're probably like, Diana, you're going way too fast. I know. Last night, just to do that was 2 hours. I don't want to be here for another 2 hours. And I know you guys don't want to be here for another 2 hours. And, you know, looking back on the replay, you don't want to rewatch something that's going to take 4 hours. Because think about it, the first video is 2 hours, this one's 2 hours, that's going to add up to your time. Your time is valuable and so is mine, so I want to proceed at a pace that I'm a little bit more comfortable with instead of constantly stopping, which sometimes that's the only bad thing about doing live tutorials is sometimes you do have to like wait up or you have to sit and explain instead of just, you know, mindlessly putting on your headphones and just listening to a book or listening to music or whatever. And drowning out the world and you kind of get lost in your own space. So I'm doing the same effect of lightening up the outer edges of these petals, and then this petal is going to be darker over here, which we will darken up in just a bit once we start to do the edges and blending in from that. Alizarin crimson. And I think I might drag that alizarin crimson all the way up to the edge here. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Kelly. Hey, Jessica. Oh, Deborah, that's okay. Hi, Anna. Hi, Terry. Oh, Deborah, sorry. I didn't realize you were blowing my phone up. I know. I'm sorry. I like texted you and then I like left. I came into the live. Hello, Connie. Hey, Elizabeth. I think I already said hi to Elizabeth. Did I? I don't know if I did, but hello. Good morning, Jan. Hello, everybody. All right. So let's start working back on. It's because, see, I don't have patience. I'm going to use my heat gun real quick. Hold on. Ain't nobody got time to sit and wait for the paint to dry. Let's go and start working this petal. And the reason I say start working it is because I do not agree with my white. I'm just going to stop being lazy. See, this is what like really upsets me about myself is that I know I need to put new paint down to thicken up the one that's already. And what I say with the wetness, what I mean is like this, right? So this is the oils from the paint and they're just blobbing out. So when that happens, I like to take my brush. You got to mix it around a little bit, get the oils back in there so that the paint kind of regenerates itself. Because I do paint with fluid paints. So like this, I would just kind of twirl around and mix until the oils start to go back into the acrylic paint. And that's what I mean, is that my stuff is too wet now. So I have to go back in and put more color on top of that so that it thickens it up a little bit. So that it makes blending easier, because when you're blending like too wet on wet, then it just starts to become a mess and a pain in the butt. It's a lot of trial and error that you gotta get a feel for with your own paints and your own home. Just knowing what type of textures you're working with, what type of fluidity you are working with. All right. Hey, Soko. Okay. Going in. Working at the car wash. Okay. Here we go. We're blending some white in. Some of that pretty pink with white. Now, I did not rinse my brush off. I have a little bit of excess paint left over. I'm going to grab some of this alizarin crimson. Maybe a little bit of that burnt sienna, brick red, and just a smidge of brown. And maybe a little bit of magenta. We're going for like a rosy brown color. I'm wiping off the excess because I just want a light kiss of a trail down here. Just a smidge. Nothing too crazy. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more of that magenta. Have not rinsed my brush off. I am tapping off the excess on it, just going straight with a blob of color, okay? So that's not what we want. We want to very lightly. Think of this as like you're painting an actual floral petal. They're very delicate. You know, any little bruise to it and it wilts. So you don't want to do that. Treat it like you would an actual flower. Grabbing my fine liner. And we're going to go in with that same color. Water it down, roll off the excess. Create a couple of little lines going down here. Very lightly. Very lightly, okay? It's almost like I'm very gently scratching it, right? I have not rinsed my color off, going in with a little bit of magenta just to give the petals some pops of color. And last but not least, rinsed my brush off. I have white. Give it some light coming through this petal. Maybe I want to curve this petal a little bit here. Give it some shape, some movement. How'd you guys sleep last night? I don't even remember falling asleep, honestly. I was so tired. I'm going to outline this with the magenta again, just a little bit, and then grabbing some of the neon magenta, create my little line, give it some light coming through. And let's start working on this one down here. Going in with some white, gonna give it some shape right up until about there. Fill out the rest of it. You see how it's just like water? It just moves right along. Some magenta. My hands are also very shaky today, so I apologize in advance. I don't know if you guys can see my shaking on the camera, but it's there. All right. So magenta, and that is the quinacridone, I can't talk, magenta. I'm gonna bring that color out. Again with the hot pink. Blend those two colors in together. Tap, tap, tap from the top. rinse the brush off, get any excess paint off, and just go in with some white. And when I'm going in, I'm gonna kind of do very, very light brush strokes to get those colors to bleed in a pretty manner. Just a little piece of paint missing here. Like that. Grab your fine liner. Use that same brown mixture that we just did. Create your little divot here. I'm gonna wipe off the excess, and then I'm gonna just use the leftover paint that's on my brush to create some veins down here. And remember that the petals are going this way, so you want to make sure that you're creating your veins appropriately in the direction that they are going. Give them some movement. See, that's too much paint, but that's okay. Very light. Maybe we want to add a little bit of very light purple. So let me grab some purple and water that down with some white. Not water it down, but add some white so that you get like a pretty lilac. I'm gonna come back and fix this flower too, guys. It's been bugging me since last night. I feel like I kind of just threw it up on the rock. I didn't do as much detailing as I usually would. In my defense though, these tutorials, I tried to do what usually takes me, you know, several hours, and then it ends up expanding itself into a very, very long talking session. Okay. And then you want to go in and add your white, add your light into your petal. Give it a couple little streaks down here. Maybe connect them down here. Let the flower tell you how it wants to be painted. Okay? I know that that sounds cheesy, but it's the truth. All right. And then let's come over here. I am going to go in with just straight brown. Straight brown. Maybe I want to line this out a little bit too. Straight brown and straight brown over here. And then let's maybe just a smidge of black, like a little tiny kiss of black to give you something to drag out. I'm just going to lightly tap it in. And then with the alizarin crimson red, we're going to tap that out. Like that. Grabbing some of that purple and white mixture. Blend it out like butter. I will never stop recommending these brushes. They are everything, man. I can try to get the link posted a little bit later if anybody needs it, or you can just message me. And let's lighten this up. So when I lighten this up, I'm going to do the opposite of what I did here. So here I'm trying to make these lines darker, right? Here I'm going to try to make them a little bit lighter. So let's go in with some magenta, some white, mix that up, maybe a little bit more magenta. This is the Wanda magenta, my fave. And let's go for it. I'm gonna also add some white over here on the side. See, I keep flip-flopping back and forth. That's why teaching to paint flowers is so hard, because you see something on the other petal and you have to continuously keep going back to fix it, right? Now, I am gonna go in with just the alizarin crimson and create some lines as well. Just drag that color back out. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is just add the white into it, into the outer edge of the flower. Okay. All right. And grab some coffee. Now I'm going to grab some of the hot pink, some magenta, and some white. A little bit more magenta, a little bit more neon. I'm mixing the colors so that you guys can kind of see what ending color I guess I'm trying to go for. Like a very rosy carnation pink, and just like that, just a quick little swipe. Maybe I want to add some color over here. Now that I got the color on my brush, you know, I'm like, I feel unstoppable. Maybe I want to add some over here on this petal. Kind of connect all the colors together. And after that, I'm going to go in again with the brown. Maybe just a little kiss of black. And some alizarin crimson. Maybe some magenta. You just want like a peachy brown. And outline this. Now this, hold on. Hold on, before y'all go in, I'm gonna extend this out just a little bit all the way up here. Make this petal a little bit bigger so that I have a little bit of room to create a crease. And what I mean by a crease is, here I go in with the brown, and I'm going to try to give this petal some movement. Go with some black so that you guys can see a little bit better. And then with that same pink that I just mixed up, I'm going to extend my petal over here. And just use the leftover paint that's on my brush to fill in that color. I'm not done yet. Going with a little kiss of black here. In this little section. Blend in with your alizarin crimson. Get that color in there nice and deep. And the same. So the good thing about this is, you know, once you kind of get the hang of it, you can just kind of go on, repeat, and fix. And, you know, the more practice that you get, the more you'll be able to work on all of the petals at the same time if you work fast enough and try to blend them out. And last but not least, I'm going to grab a little bit of purple, a little bit of white, and a smidge of that pink color that we just had. Just kind of mix it all together, make a pretty little lilac color. I'm going to start it here in the middle of this petal and bring that color out and connect. Wipe off the excess. And I'm going to use the edge of my brush to just drag that down in circular motions from the top. Again, the products that you use, the stuff that you paint with, it really does make a difference. The best thing that you can do as an artist is invest in what you are using. So, let's go in with some white up here. Kind of edge it out a little bit, maybe drag down some floral lines. And give it some shape. drag this down. Maybe you want to use your blending brush and drag that down a little bit more. Like that. Don't overdo it though, because look, I'm starting to get into my darker section here, and that's not what I want. Once I'm here, I'm going to go in with my alizarin crimson and mix in some of the neon pink and outline this outer curve that we made here. Bring that color out in little quick strokes. And grabbing some white and doing the same again. I'm gonna create those lines. You know what? I always say you're not married to your rock. Like, turn the dang rock around. I have to remind myself of this constantly. Like, turn the rock around. Don't crane your neck, don't crane your wrist, turn the rock around. Using water to blend out, but I have way too much water on this, so it might make a mess. And I might have to just clean it up and leave it for a little bit. All right, can you guys see? Is anybody, hello, is anybody there? Is anybody watching? And then let's go in for that final petal. White. I'm gonna lay my color in over here. Not rinsing my brush, it's probably still gonna have a little bit of excess white. And just picked up the magenta and blending it down. Did not rinse my brush. I do have some hot pink I'm gonna bring into the mix here. Very lightly going to make some lines here, just drag that color out. May want a little bit more over here. And then I'm just gonna go in with straight hot pink. Why not, right? Maybe we want to add a little bit of hot pink over here too. Maybe we want to add a little bit of hot pink over here too. Just give it those little pops of color because they will make the difference in your final art piece. My little pocket over here. I feel like I want to extend this petal out just a little, or make it a little bit brighter, just so that you see the difference between the two petals here. And then go back in with that pink and blend it. Okay, now grabbing some purple, some hot pink, and just a smidge of white. Like this. And creating those lines going through this flower. Maybe the veins on this are going to be a little bit hot pink too, like that. And the last thing that I want to do is kind of really go in and highlight my little pockets. That's what we're calling them, just a little pocket. So I'm going to grab a different type of fine liner. This one is really good. Let's go with this one. It's just a little bit thicker. I'm gonna grab some black and magenta. It's gonna be very, very dark magenta. Now I have the paint on my brush. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip my brush in the water. You see how it's dripping? And I'm gonna tap off that excess. And I'm gonna come in and shade. Wiped off the excess and using the water that's left over on the brush to create some shading around my petals. Do the same process over here. shading around the petals. Pushing some of them back, pushing some of them forward. The same over here. Trying to make them pop a little bit more. Around the pockets, okay? If you can still tell where your pockets are, because I'm struggling over here. This is not the best of my tutorials, but you know what? That's okay. All right. So, the little black spot, just put your little circle in there. Drag up that black around the edges of your petals. I don't think that was my pocket. Maybe. And leave the black there. I'm going to let that dry off. While that's happening, I'm going to start to base paint. While this is dry in the meantime, so that we can put the rest of the little squiggly things or whatever, I'm going to add some more of those squigglies over here, by the way. After further consideration. So with that, we made that really like nasty puce looking color by using yellow, a little bit of the raw sienna, and just a smidge of green. Maybe a little bit of the neon yellow as well, brighten that up. And I'm just gonna create a couple of little dots. And this is a scruffy brush. Okay, so all I'm doing is just tapping it in there. And then I'm dipping my brush into brown. I haven't rinsed it. I still have the undertones of the colors. Like that. Okay. And then let's go in with green. So I did grab some of the, I think that this is the Hooker's Green Permanent and the other one. And I'm just gonna lay down my color of green. I'm not gonna detail it just yet, but we will start shading, making it a more realistic looking leaf in just a minute. And just, you know, you gotta lay your base coat down. And also so that you can erase the excess around the leaves. Now, these types of flowers have these little like nubs here at the end. And doing that, I'm going to use some raw or burnt. Is it raw or burnt sienna? You know, the mustard looking one. A little bit of that, a little bit of the golden yellow, and a smidge of white. Goodness, I'm a mess. And then the only thing I'm gonna do is treat it like it's like a little cone up here on top. Just freehand it. You don't need to stress about drawing it. Remember, it's nature. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's it. That's the last one. Just through the little nubs. All right, now that this is dry, be careful not to put your hand on your leaves if you have been painting along exactly with what I've been doing. I'm gonna grab some of my white and just kind of roll the side of it into the pink and create my little thingies that come out of the flower here. As I start to work my way into the center, I am going to grab some more pink and, you know, dip it back and forth between the pink and the white. And that's just so that it gives you a little bit of a smoother gradient. You don't just have a whole bunch of white sticks sticking up out of this, right? Like that. Wait for that to dry. While we're doing that, I'm going to grab some brown that's watered down a little bit. And just shade the bottom. I'm going to leave my color down here and then use the brush to drag the excess paint up. Around here, around where the curve would be, right? So where would the shadow be on this? It's down here because the light is coming in this way. Oh, I can hear my neighbor. The babies are outside. My neighbor runs a daycare in her home, so the kiddos are always out there playing. And then I'm gonna highlight it with some white. And you'll notice I'm adding a little bit of like ridges to it. Now, last night when we highlighted this little baby blue area, I'm going to go in with some of the navy blue that I have over here. Mix in a little bit of white. Tap off the excess always. And just create a couple of strokes down from that baby blue. Quick light strokes. You're trying to give your wood some texture. Like that. Maybe around here. I want to lighten it up just a little bit. And then we really start to see it coming to life. Going to grab my scruffy brush. I'm dipping it into the, what is this? Burnt sienna. Tapping off the excess. And I'm just going to tap a couple of spots of color here and there. Oops, I got on my petal. Onto the branch. Just so that it's not some dull, just black looking thing. Like it's just bleak. It just looks very unrealistic, you know? A little bit of brown here. And you guys already saw that I was doing some red last night. Let me see if you can see. Hold on. Let me see myself over here on this little review. So you can see the spots of red. You can start to see the difference in color on the stem. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Let me mute you guys so you don't hear my 1,000 sneezes. Oh, I got goosebumps. I hate sneezing. Okay. Going back to these flowers, right? I'm grabbing my little thick, what's this called? What is this called? A detail brush. God, I can't talk today. Where's my neon yellow? Where did I leave that? Neon yellow. All right. So a little bit of the neon yellow with some of this, it's this puce color that we just did, okay? It's just green, some of this mustard looking brown, some yellows. There we go. Just tapping in. If you want to do the black undertone first, you can do that too. Because remember, that's what we did over here. So that you give yourself some space for shadow underneath these little thingies that come out of the flower. And I'm just putting a ton of little different strokes here and there, okay? And you can go in with just regular neon yellow and kind of add a little bit of a highlight. If that makes it pop off your rock more. Going around and just adding a little bit of a glow up to the top. Am I on camera? Maybe I want to make these little sticks shine a little bit brighter. It's coming along. Slowly but surely we have gotten here, sort of. All right, now your leaf. I'm going to grab some red. Maybe mix a little bit of the neon red in there. And just kind of create a little rift up here. Showing that this is where the leaf is gonna start. And it contrasts really pretty with that green. So my leaf, I'm going to grab some black. I have a fine liner and I'm just gonna create a whole bunch of little thorns here. Very smooth, you don't have to overthink it. Let's create a dark, deep black line in the middle, curving it down, give it some movement. And now we can start to file in our color. So make sure you have your scruffy brush ready to blend. Hold on, it's a little bit hard from last night. I want this one because it has a smoother edge. Okay, I'm taking some green, some just mixtures of green. Take like the darkest green that you have, okay? And I'm mixing a little bit of navy blue into it. I'm not mixing black because I don't want it to be too dark. It's underneath this branch, this little petal, so keep that in mind. And this little side of the leaf is going to be dark. Underneath here, we're gonna bring some of that color out. And then we're going to grab some green. Mix both of those colors together. And a hint of baby blue. My baby blue is very watered down, so it might not pick up any pigment at all. Yes, it did. Okay. Top off the excess. And let's outline over here. Laying my color down. Brightening up this little section here in the middle. I need to add more baby blue to my thing. Hold on. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm a lazy painter. I know I need new paints and I just don't do it. All right, baby blue, here we go. Okay. Grabbing my fine liner. Going to grab some yellow mixed with some of that unbleached titanium. And let's give our leaf its point, its edge here. I haven't rinsed my brush off, but I am gonna dip it back into some of that golden yellow. And then this is still wet up here, so it's gonna pick up some of the black, which is fine. I'm just drawing a line in between that black line that we did. more paint. Okay, and then create your veins. I'm doing it directly from the top here. Create your veins. Honestly, it's probably easier to just do it in black so that you can once again go over it with that lighter white color. And the reason you do that is so that it gives it a little bit of depth on the sides here. It kind of sinks that leaf to the back, and it gives this little vein the ridge that it needs to give it a more realistic effect. Grabbing some white because I do want to highlight this section over here and kind of just tell people this is where my leaf is beginning. Grabbing a little bit of white and baby blue mixed together. And we're going to do the same effect over here. Create your little ridges. Ruffles have ridges. All right. Now, I'm going to fill in the little excess lines over here. And I'm just going straight down that black line. If you struggle with fine lines, my best advice is use something very, very thin. I mean, if you have eyeliner brushes, strip them down to like the very last bristle. And I mean that. Like, you want the thinnest line that you possibly can, okay? And let's go in with your blending brush again. Grab a little bit of this, it's like an aqua green. Hold on, let me show you the color because I did not prep that on the palette last night. That's just from my previous painting. And mix a little bit of that in with some baby blue. Tapping off the excess. And I'm gonna just bring in a little bit of highlight over here. Laying my color down, wiping off the excess, and using the top of my brush to kind of scrub it in, highlighting out over here. I'm gonna do the same effect over here. And notice how it's very, very light. You want a light touch to this, okay? You don't want it to completely be like just a chunk of color. You want a very, very light touch kiss of color. If you struggle with knowing how much paint to put on your paintbrush, like you're undecided on how much to add, just make sure that you water it down, because remember that it's easier to blend in water down than just say like, oop, I put, you know, baby blue here and now I gotta work on taking it off. No, it's easy if you just water it down a little bit and then you can just add layers upon layers, because remember that it's harder to take away color than it is to add it. Work smarter, not harder. Can you still do it the other way? Absolutely. There's 100,000 ways to paint, but is it going to save you time? Probably not. So, going to grab some black paint, very, very light. And I'm going to create a couple of small, tiny veins. Now, again, if you struggle with fine lines, then don't worry about this part. Just leave it as is. And the last thing that I'm going to do with that leaf is grab some baby blue. And I'm just going to kind of highlight underneath where my little veins are so that it draws the viewer's eye to the fact that this is a leaf. This is where my highlights are, etc. Probably gonna lighten it up here because I don't like how light it is, or how dark it is still. Maybe add just a smidge of white to get those edges a little bit brighter. All right. Hey, Tony. if you're still here. You guys see the progress we have made so far. This is where we're at, okay? If you want to brighten it up over here as well, because, you know, this background is it blends in well, and you want to make your stuff stand out a little bit more, don't be afraid to add a little bit more white to that. Add a little bit more white to the edges of your flowers. Don't be afraid to brighten up your paintings. Okay. Coffee break. Look, I'm almost at an hour, you see? The tutorials take so long, man. So here we go. We're gonna start to work on these. Let me bring my little stuff back up. And these are gonna be a little bit lighter, but we're gonna do the same thing. If you wanna, in one fair swoop, do your black line going through, go ahead and do that. Let that dry. If you wanna do your black lines for your veins, go ahead and do that. But if you wanna, it just depends on what you are gonna be comfortable with, okay? If you wanna blend your colors underneath, that's fine too. You can always just redraw your black lines. It's not a big deal. So, grabbing some white, highlighting where our branch is going here. I'm gonna highlight the outer edge of this leaf. For the top portion of it, grabbing some neon yellow. I don't know why I went all the way up there to mix my color, but this is where we are. And a little bit of white. I'm gonna create my edges. And if you don't feel comfortable doing a zigzag, you can also just do strokes at different intervals going in, okay? Add a little bit more yellow. Bruno, don't go outside and start barking at the kids. They already know, Bruno. I can hear the little girl calling him. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, you've already done all of this work over here. Go in with that same neon yellow and white mix. Roll it out very, very thin as you can. Yep, there he is. And there's Bruno. Ta-da! Now I'm undecided if I want to do some water drops. If I want to do water drops on this, because I feel like it's already a lot, but we might do some dew drops. That's fine. Is anybody watching? I have like 4 viewers. That's fine. I know that people are working. All right. So let's grab some of that same mixture of the aqua green with some baby blue. Lay your color down. Maybe I want to add a little bit more white. Brighten it up. Laying my color down, and then I'm just using my brush to kind of scrub it out. And pushing up so that it doesn't come into my stem. Bruno, don't go barking. Don't go barking. Adding a little bit to the outer edges here. Honestly, I'm just trying to get antsy because, you know, my favorite part is coming up. My favorite part of the paintings. I'm going in with some of the neon yellow. Give it a couple of highlights here and there. I need to do a better tutorial on leaves, honestly. I'm going to practice some leaves. I kind of want to do like a big monster leaf, maybe with like a little ladybug. What do you guys think? Should I do another floral tutorial or should I do a leaf tutorial? Because that's something I also need to work on that I haven't. I want to kind of separate this branch from the flower. So I'm going to put a little blue highlight there. All right. And then let's do some water droplets. Hold on. Claudia says leaf. Honestly, I think I might just do a leaf with like a cute little ladybug on it or something for tonight. What do you guys think? I 100% agree with that. I do need to work on my leaves so we can learn together. It'll be, I won't call it a tutorial, it'll be like a paint along. I need to do some scouring for a good inspiration image. All right, so water droplets, some white. Maybe I want to put a couple of little spots here. Maybe I want to put a little white spot here. Little white spot here. Little white spot here. Little white spot here. And no, there's not just going to be white spots. We're going to fill them in, but I'm just trying to do this. Maybe I want to add another one here. I'm going to try to go for like the darker sections where you can actually see them. And one right here. Right here. One of them going down this way. That's just an outer lining. Maybe a big one here. Maybe another big one here. And remember that they're droplets. Hello, Diana. You have to leave the edge kind of flat at the bottom. Maybe some water here. Maybe just some little shiny pieces. Ooh, Elizabeth, you're doing leaves and insects? Okay. I'm on a floral kick. I'm on a full floral kick. Another way to do droplets is just to do the outline of the circle, which is my preferred method. I don't know what I was doing over here. Like that. I have white on my brush. I'm going to water it down, get as much of it off as I can. And then I'm going to swoop in the bottom here. Just use the water that's on your brush, the excess paint that's on your brush, to water it down. And fill up that water droplet about halfway. Maybe you want to make these bigger. Round it out. And that one I'm just going to have to redo. So if you did this, there's several ways to do water droplets. You can go back in with a darker color of your background color. So for in this case, it would be green. I'm just going to fill it in about halfway. Water down. That green is not the correct color that I need. Hold on. Hold on. I might go in with some navy blue though on the outer edge here. Just fill in your water droplet about halfway so that you see some of the undertone of the leaf coming through. And the last thing that you do is you just shadow underneath your water droplet, okay? Make sure that it's watered down. You do want to create your little shadows underneath. If you don't feel comfortable doing it with black, you can also do it with navy blue. That's probably better for the flower. Like a dark, deep navy blue, what's this called? Like a shadow outline. You can go as far as outlining the tops of these so that you see how the difference when you water it down and when you just go in straight with the color. Wipe off the excess. Like that. Around here. Create a little circle. Around here. Maybe we want to add a little bit of water up here at the top, like that. Like a little bubble dot, kind of. All right. So the last thing that we're gonna do is obviously add shimmer. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and initial sign your rock, do what you gotta do. The shimmer is my favorite part. I'm gonna be using the new colors that I just got from Wanda. We got the black opal. Oh, look at this turquoise. Monazite. Topaz. Smoky amethyst. Ooh, look at this. Oh, look at this green. Okay, hold up. I gotta open this like immediately. This is the Mystic Gems Shimmer Shots, okay? Hold on, because your girl's gotta open it. Why can't I open this? All right. Let's do a little skin swatch. I always try to swatch it on my skin because for some reason colors just look great on my skin. Look at that. Oh God, that's gorgeous. All right, let's use some of that. Look at this color. Now, listen, shimmer doesn't have a rhyme or a reason, okay? You just use it how you see fit. If you want to put it here, you want to put it there. This is my absolute favorite part because I don't have to stay in the lines. You don't have to worry about like anything except where am I putting this beautiful shimmer. Hold up, where are the ones that I had last night? What are my colors that I had last night? Where is my other set? Oh, speak to me, where are you? Oh, there we go. Okay. No, they're not in here. Where are my colors? Are they back here? Yes, they're back here. Okay. All right. This chiffon rose. Hold on. I'm gonna put this, oh, I just smeared my entire finger with the green. Oh, this is a gorgeous color. It's a gorgeous color. Trying to get the glitter, the shimmer. Hello? You can't see this one on my skin. That's fine. Where's my Santorini? Where's my practice Santorini rock? I do have a ton of practice Santorini rocks. Oh yeah. That's gorgeous. Excuse me. See, everybody was all chatty Cathy last night, and so I came in with this like energy that I was gonna be pumped. Everybody's so quiet today. All right, and this is the chiffon pink. So we got the rose and we got the pink. Oh, okay. Let me put some of this down so that I can use it. I want to bathe in that. Stunning. Notice I'm not putting it absolutely everywhere. You don't have to put your stuff everywhere. A little bit goes a long, long way. And I am definitely not done glamifying this, okay? I'm going to grab some old classics, some juniper. This is from the Jelly Gelatos. Some mulberry shimmer. This was during Christmas. Let's see what other fun stuff I got in here. Bubblegum, Jelly Gelatos. Maybe a little bit of fruit punch. Either one will do. Hold on. Oh, this is a gorgeous color too. The tea rose, that was from the spring set. Oh god, but then we got golden rose too. Hold on. I can never decide on what I'm gonna narrow down on what I'm doing over here. For sure, I need prickly pear. And I might be using some of the, hold on. Let's see. This was from one of Wanda's Mega Super Chrome shifters. Oh god. It's just a regular watercolor, but you can see the color shift kind of. It's got like a blue-green shift. Okay. So we're going to be using some of that. I'm going to be using some of my Gibby Twinkle. Let me activate these before I go any further. Where's my little dropper? So all you got to do when you activate watercolors is just grab a little dropper or grab some water. And it doesn't need a lot, honestly. I used to drown them, but then they take forever to dry. But you start to get the shimmer. So go ahead and drop that in. What else? I think that's it. I don't want to overdo it either. I don't want to overdo it. Proceeds to overdo it. All right, so I am using juniper right now. If you don't have shimmer shots yet, and if you're like, there's so many, I don't know what products of Wanda's I'm gonna use, I don't know which ones to start with. I always recommend like the essentials to life, okay? The essentials to life is try her neons and to try her jelly gelatos. These are gospel to me. These are the Bible. Like, these are it, okay? These are my absolute favorite of hers to use. Let me shake this up real quick. I might use this one instead of the bubblegum pink. This one's very vivid though. Look at that. Just adding some here and there. I'm gonna go a little bit more mulberry in between there. This one, it's a gorgeous, like a very deep magenta color. Let me get my little poker. Don't forget, I mean, there's so much that you could use on this. She has the mega chromes that she used to have in the pans. You guys remember those? Those pinks were gorgeous. So much. So many of her products. It's hard. It's hard to choose which one. This is my struggle all the time, anytime that I do a live. And it's my favorite part about painting. Like, sincerely, my favorite part is adding the shimmer and sitting and knowing that your painting is done and all that you need to do is just beautify it. Like, how do people paint without the shimmer? I'm not gonna lie, I have done a couple of paintings without it, just because the piece kind of called for like a matte look. And I always feel like it's missing something when I do that. I think for this top highlight, I'm just gonna go in with the Gibby Twinkle. Highlight the edges. And bring it down. Hold on, it's because I want to dry this up so that you guys can see just how gorgeous, like nothing that I've ever seen in my life or that I've used in the art world has compared to just adding the shimmer. It's gorgeous. And then some of this green. This is a watercolor pan, which she also has a lot of. Hold on, I think I'm gonna pat this in. I might actually go in with some yellow instead of the prickly pear for this. Maybe I want to add some to my little green spots. Give it a little bit of glow. Where is my yellow? This one, pineapple. Look at, I'm getting low in it. And I know that the shimmer is not for everybody. Like, I 1000% understand that. I know that not everybody likes to be sparkly and beautiful, and some people are just like, I want to, I don't like it, and that's fine. This portion is not for you then. Completely understand that. All right, and then last but not least, I do want to add some stuff here. Bear with me. I know it's going to be tedious, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this whip. Sorry, I keep bumping into my phone stand. And I'm gonna grab a tweezers. I'm gonna grab some of the whip, put some over here on the side. And then I'm gonna individually pick it out. I know, tedious, but super worth it. I usually do this with a rhinestone picker, but I don't know where it is. And honestly, I didn't want to have y'all waiting while I looked for it. I might use a gold in here too. And you're like, Diana, why don't you just use the brush? You could use a brush. Let me let that dry for a second. I have a gold. This one is not in Wanda's shop, but she did make it for me because I bought her the pigment to do so. I'm going to use this because I love this gold. It's gorgeous. She was nice enough to do that for me. All right, let's see. Who's here? Terry. Yeah, I get that. Oh yeah, Tony, you can totally, it'll probably look more 3D if you do it that way. And you don't have to add the water droplets either. If you want to just leave it as the flower, that's okay too. Terry, you haven't tried the, girl, let me go with you. Let me go with you after this. Jackie, they are, which ones? There's a lot. There's a lot I talk about. If you're talking about Wanda's like essentials, what I would recommend, I'm going to move this off to the side so that you guys can, I'm going to let that dry a little bit while my gold activates because this one's a thicker pigment, so it takes a little bit to activate, and then I'll finish that up and add glitter to the background. But if you have not tried Wanda's yet, obviously one of my biggest recommendations would be to get the neons. 1000%. You guys always ask me, why do your paintings look so bright? That's why. Because I mix in this neons with regular acrylics, and they have done wonders for my artwork. That's my golden ticket, my golden rule that I always use is the neons. Hold on, what's the orange one? These are the jelly I'm pretty sure this is all of them. I might have an extra one over here somewhere. These are the jelly gelatos. They are absolutely incredible. My absolute favorite set apart from the neons. Because these are they almost have like a color shift to them. I mix them up. I create different types of colors with them. You can mix the blue with the purple and create like a really pretty blue purple shift. Let me show you guys. Because my husband even today was like, oh my God, I didn't know that your paints could do that. And I was like, hello, where have you been? I've been trying to show you forever. Look, okay, this is a jelly gelato mix right here. This looks blue, right? But if you shift it, okay, I'm a liar. You can't see the purple as much under this light. Why? Let me see if you can see it here. You can, there you go. There you go. You can kind of get it, right? Why can you not see the purple right now? It's the light. There you go. They shift. Jelly gelatos. I'm telling you, right here. Some of that prickly pear. Love it. Okay, hold on. Let me put you down while I put this away. But they do shift. Gotta mix them right. Okay, hold on. Put y'all back over here. A little basin. Okay, this is gonna dry. Let me check this. Oh, just dropped it. And I'm just gonna add some dabs here and there. I don't want to completely saturate it. And then last but not least, the thing that I'm gonna add over here is probably gonna be one of the little baby doll, not baby doll, one of these, probably diamond dust. Grab a scruffy brush. All right. See if you guys can see right there. And add your magic. This is a liquid gel. If you're like, how do you use a liquid gel? Girl, just use it. Just use it. You just, wherever you think that you need some glitter, put it on there. It's wet. It's got like it's true to its name. It's got like a gel-like consistency. It does take a little bit longer to dry, but it allows the glitter to like not bunch up. They are gorgeous. I just got some new ones. I totally forgot that that's what I was going to use. It's okay. We got some glitter whips. They'll either come in the little bags or I'm not sure if she's changing to these bottles, but they're just like, how can you not want to add all of that to it? All right. You can use your finger, move it around. And then let me heat dry this so that you guys can see the full effect. Hold on, I'm gonna mute the camera so you guys don't hear the heat gun. Okay, that's dry enough for me. Jackie, yes, the foiling, oh my god. The Foiling Rock Lady is her Etsy page. She also has a group on Facebook called Craft, like Creative Rock Art and Foiling Techniques. So you can see the little hints of shimmer. And there's that purple flash. What do you guys think? I'm going to do a really quick little resin jot, like a UV resin on it, and show you guys. If you wanted to as well, this one, hold on, let me put you back up here on the foam clip. And this one is great for water as well. And it might give it that little extra pop of blue that water usually has. For as much as I use these, honestly, they also last an eternity. I think I've had the same set for about a year, and I use it religiously, like on almost every painting, and I still have a full bottle. Yellow is probably the color that I use the most, and this is about how much I've used. So they do last an eternity. And then you can see the blue flash. Sort of. I'm trying to see it on the camera, but all right. So there is that completed floral tutorial. Thank you guys for joining in. I am going to give I'm going to post giveaway details a little bit later, but probably after the holiday weekend. So maybe on Wednesday. I'll give everybody till Wednesday to, if you're going to paint along. I will create a separate post with the information, and that is where you will be posting your final rocks so that you can be entered into the giveaway for the Nightmare Before Christmas rock that I painted. Obviously you don't have to. It's not like that special of a prize or whatever, but it's just a little something as a thank you to, you know, for putting up with me. So I will post later. I'm gonna look for some inspiration photos for a leaf tutorial tonight and kind of try to get myself working with that. But I kind of really like this. So I will resin it and then I'll post a video of it, and then I'll work on uploading this to YouTube so you guys can watch the playbacks. Thank you guys so much for painting along with me, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. I'll see you guys later.